Welcome back to Coffee and Chaos. Well, I feel like the gang's all back together again. I got my sister and Tom back, and I'm totally excited, by the way, as you can tell. It's not the coffee, I promise.
You guys said it was.
You guys gonna say hola, hello? How are you doing?
Hello.
No.
What's going on, everybody?
Solomon's laughing over there at us.
I am. I keep forgetting sometimes you can actually see me.
Oh yeah, we can.
You know,
see
because
you.
I got
They
my own little
can't.
That's why I
camera
stay focused, like over
Yeah.
here, like.
So
Yeah.
before we start on a very serious note, we do have something we would like to ask. We have, which would be a friend of me. It's my sister's sister-in-law, Carmina. Unfortunately, a neighbor's apartment was caught on fire, and it led into her apartment being on fire. She was woken up in the middle of the night and had to wake her kids up and run out of there and was unable to save absolutely anything. And she does have a GoFundMe. She's asking for any little bit from $5 to $10, whatever you can give. She has to replace everything material-wise, but the pictures, the memories, all that stuff. I'm going to get all sad right now.
Well, she's a single mom too, like with a gang of kids.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, not like 4 kids. That's a lot of kids. Yeah.
It is. And there's pictures in there that aren't going to be replaced. There's, kids made things that she wanted to save that. And she's already had a hard enough time with her past history and somebody passing away.
Well, yeah, like so she's my sister-in-law. Her baby's dad is my baby's dad's brother. So they both died. Both brothers died. And so she has like whatever.
She already has struggles as it is. And this is
So
definitely.
now those memories are gone. Whatever's
Yeah.
in her house, they're gone. And she's like more of a memory, like she takes pictures and she does all that. But like, of course, like when you deal with death, you understand life. So she just cares that she got her kids without getting hurt at all, like instead of anything else.
So from the bottom of our hearts, we were very genuinely asking to give as much or as little as you possibly can. It will make a big difference.
Or like send it out so people can see it because
Or even if you could donate something to her, if you guys have anything you could possibly donate, we can get it through her. Just comment or inbox me and we'll pass it along. And thank you very much. You guys ready?
let's go.
I know, because I got all emotional for a second.
I know.
But I think because I thought of Joseph and Pancho, like that
Yeah.
whole thing of those memories and those pictures. Like if I had a fire and I couldn't save, you know how I am with pictures.
Yeah.
Like I would be sad. The kids.
Well, her like she's like a picture person.
Yeah.
So like she's like, I don't want to call her a weirdo, but she like really holds on to like the memorabilia.
Yeah.
And she like goes to the gravesite
Yeah.
and she's like really good about that. Like Pancho was a donator and like so they have like this yearly thing because
Oh.
like people got his eyes and stuff like that. Like so like
Yeah.
they like Connie and all them
Yeah.
like they're like, and I mean like, as you should, I guess, like where me on the other hand, back in the day, we didn't take pictures because evidence, and I have no like hardly memorabilia or anything like where that like, and she held on to that. That made
Yeah.
her closure or whatever,
Yeah.
and I don't have none of that.
Yeah.
Like so, like I know that's like
Yeah.
like whatever, and then she's all like lovable, like oh I love,
She is.
and where
Totally.
I'm just like whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
Yeah. So I think that's why I got emotional because I just was thinking about all that and I was bringing it back. So, but now we're going to get a little crazy. Of course, I don't ever agree with the two of you. And so our topic.
Of course, you're gonna agree with me. I make sense. Well, go ahead.
Well, I apparently live in my own head. As Seth says, once you learn to speak Alina, then you'll get along better with her.
Yeah, I'm waiting to hear what this is going to be.
Don't learn that language. There's no dictionary out there.
So we're going to talk about, which it's going to go into all different angles, but basically gender roles as far as what in 2023, what do women do? What do men do? What do we generally expect them to do in a relationship? How are we in our own? Like for me, my biggest thing is I hate taking out the trash. I personally feel like that's a man's job. That's not, but I have to because a lot of times I am home alone.
What's your job?
I'll pay the mortgage. I
I'm just asking.
I clean the house.
Because I think it's very amusing, people just go around saying what somebody else's job is. And there's nothing wrong with that. I agree with it too.
Didn't
this
you just
is-
tell your kids?
I believe in gender roles. Hold on. But I think it's hilarious how people could say, oh, this is what you do.
Yeah.
But like, well, what is it that you do, woman? I mean, as a woman, I'm just saying womanly.
Well, it depends. Are we talking about my household or are we talking like if I was in a relationship? Because I'll say what I would do in a relationship, but Tom and Solomon already laughed at me.
Well,
So
Yes, we
because like
did.
it's not a reality.
yeah.
So we could just speak on what I think we should just speak on what we know as you're a woman. So, what do you do, woman?
So I wash.
I'm just
Yeah.
saying,
So I,
right?
I wash clothes, meaning I washed Michael's clothes this weekend. I washed Seth's clothes, my clothes, Grandma's clothes. I clean the house. I won't. And we'll not even talk about bills like that's because obviously I have to pay the bills,
Yeah,
right?
right.
That's so I clean the house. I have to mop my floor, which I've been avoiding to do for 3 days because I hate that. But getting everything organized in the house for Grandma, like ready for the caregivers, like all that stuff. So I do take on all those women roles.
Yeah.
And the only real thing I ask out of my son is to take the trash out and then to go in the backyard and pick up dog poop.
Yeah.
But other than that, I don't really ask. You know what? I shouldn't say that. He went to Costco for me yesterday.
Well, what's his man role? I mean, like, since you like telling what the other person should be doing, I'm just curious.
Well, his man role in my eyes if he moved into a house with a woman.
No, we're not talking about.
Just staying at
I
home.
was just saying, like, yeah, you're a man now.
So I'm saying just taking out the trash.
Just taking out
Well,
trash.
he goes to school, so he's gone at school, and then he has baseball, so he's gone a lot.
So
he
let
goes
me-
to the gym.
Let me chime in on that. Right?
Yeah.
So right now, it's okay for him to have very minimal, just take out the trash. But had you have a man there, I think you're going to want a whole lot more out of that man. Like, so you're not holding him accountable to do these manly things,
Yeah.
but you're going to hold your man accountable to do those things and be like, no, you need to step up a little bit more than just taking out the trash.
And you're right, but because I haven't had that, I wouldn't even know. I wouldn't know what I would expect out of that man.
Right.
And
Like,
I think
wouldn't
that's
expect put gas in my car, like take my car to go get gas, so I don't have to do it at 6 o'clock in the morning because
Right,
I'm always
totally.
on E,
Right.
and that's my bad habit, right?
That's woman.
So so maybe
Well, let's just run out of gas.
so maybe I wouldn't
I'm
be on E
distressed.
if I had.
The lights on. Oh my God. Okay.
I'm always like, so maybe I wouldn't be on E if I had a guy living there already and he already knows that about me. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
so I couldn't tell you what I would expect or want because I don't
think
even.
I think that's when it becomes a problem, is when we expect it. You know, if we're expecting it.
So then you don't believe in roles.
Well, I
That's
do
an
believe in a
expectation.
role in a sense, but I don't believe that we expect it all the time. So if I go home and let's just say my girl's been working hard all week, right? And maybe I thought I was going to have dinner, or maybe I thought, but let's say she's beat tired and she just fell asleep and she's taking a nap.
Yeah.
Like, I think she deserves to have the freaking nap.
Yeah.
And vice versa. Like, if I'm killing it all week long and I finally knock out, leave me the fuck alone.
Yeah.
Don't bother me.
Yeah.
Let me
Yeah.
have my time. Let
yeah.
me have that.
Yeah.
Like, but
That's consideration though.
so see what
Yeah.
it ends up happening too. So a lot of times, like, if let's say I throw my clothes on the floor, right? I got my clothes, I just throw them on the floor in the bedroom, but yet I'm putting in new vinyl windows in the front of the house. Like, don't come and sweat me about the friggin' my clothes on the floor.
Yeah.
Because you can't help me do this, and this is taking me X amount of hours, and you're not capable of doing this,
That's
but I
just
am.
rude.
So don't.
Yeah.
This is rude.
But a lot of
Like-
but a lot of girls do that.
Oh, they'll get all mad, like,
yeah.
you need to be doing all of it. And I'm like,
Yeah.
well, okay, then let me see you do all of it. Like,
well, and that's
you
the
know?
thing. Women don't think that way. Women
Sure.
are very compartmentalized when it comes to stuff like that. They don't look at the bigger picture and say, hey, what have you done for me lately? It's always a thing of like, well, this is here now. This is what's in front of me now. And, why haven't you handled this? Whereas men, we want women to say, hey, look at the bigger picture. Give me some grace here. I mean,
think
I've been
you guys
doing all
know
these other
bad
things.
Women. It's terrible.
No, I
I think that's in a general. I think he's
Yeah,
right.
I think he's right 100%, right? Like there's that movie with Reese Witherspoon and whatever, and they're gonna wash dishes, and she wants him to wash dishes. And he's like, I don't want to wash dishes. So he gets up to wash the dishes with her, and she's like, you're not happy. And he goes, who wants to wash dishes?
I'd like it.
Yeah.
But the woman expected him to, let's wash dishes because we're doing it together. And he was like, nobody wants to wash dishes.
Yeah.
And his thing is, I've worked all week. I've done all this. Like, you wash the dishes.
I think there's certain things that we just get involved. Like, for me, I like washing dishes, so I'll jump in there all the time.
I just
You know
told
what I
him, like,
mean?
you just defeated like everything.
Yeah, I that's one of the things I do. I don't know. It's
You
like,
like-
I just
But
chill
I
out. I'm just having fun. And then I like to run the vacuum, right? But I don't like to do other things.
So
I don't
what
like fold
don't-
laundry.
Oh, see, I love to fold
Right?
laundry.
I don't want to do that. So
love
there's so
laundry.
then I think a lot of times it just depends. Hey, She likes to do that. I like to do this. We can make this easy.
There
and
it
try
is.
to like
Yeah.
That's how it
navigate
works.
to the things we want to do. It makes it easier on her, and we
But
like
if
it.
you-
Wait, hold on. What do you have gender roles, Tom? Do you teach gender roles?
Did you teach your 4 boys gender roles?
I teach my boys to be independent, to be able to do it for themselves, but not to just not put it off on a woman.
No.
No,
I teach.
like I like the traditional roles. I like a lot of that
So
stuff.
they're
So
not
if
to
you-
expect nothing from their women
I was gonna
that
say-
they
yeah.
like.
You
Because
walk-
now it sounds like with Alina, with right, Mr. Magoo, like, well, now you're not like you're taking some of
Mr. Magoo, by the way, is AKA Seth.
Oh, okay, like some of their like, because like now they're gonna be in a relationship, but now you've not taught them like, these females. All right, I don't like bitches. These females like they need to be doing this, and that for
Yeah.
you. You know what I mean? But since you're teaching them like, hey, make sure you're good. Like now,
Well,
what do they expect from their females?
I think that I do teach them that. Like,
No, I'm just
it all
asking.
depends
I
on
don't know.
how it's everything in the attitude, right? How it's delivered, how she's acting, how she's responded. If she's like, I ain't fucking gonna do this, I ain't gonna clean that, I'm
bitch
not gonna
gotta
make
go.
that, and all that, and it comes across that way, then yeah.
So if
then
you
there's gonna
walked
be a
in
problem.
your kid's house, you know he's worked all week. It's Friday night. He invited you guys over for dinner, right?
Yep.
And she's just sitting on the couch and she's scrolling TV and he's in the kitchen, he's cooking and he's doing this and that. You're going to be okay with all that?
No.
In your head, you're not going to be like this girl.
It depends on how she keeps on working it, and it depends on what she's normally doing. Like, so if she's normally after it all the time, and her general way is that she's a hustler and she's taking care of them and she's making sure that everything else is addressed all the time and trying to give her best to him, then I don't have a problem with that. Like if he's doing something, like maybe he's got a bunch of energy and like, hey, I'm in it, and she just wants to chill. So
Yeah.
I think that it kind of just lands like that. But if it's being expected and it's being pushed on one person and being like, oh well, I'm not really going to do that, or I don't want to do those things. When it's a tick for a tack, that shit just drives me crazy. Well, how many times did you do laundry versus how many times I did it? How many times you do dishes? How many times I did? Like, oh, I'm not getting into all that.
Well, that's not partnership though. That's not teamwork.
Yeah,
that's not like.
Well, I don't want to have it up.
one-sided.
Some people have it up there on their refrigerator. Your chore, I'm not doing all that either.
That's
Right.
crazy. So like I don't have it on a thing, but definitely that is how like it is done in my house.
Well, it was
Like,
done like that with my kids, but
Yeah.
I'm not
No.
on that.
I'm
but
not a
no,
kid. I'm
Yeah.
a grown ass man that pays
Yeah.
the bills.
Okay, so like
Yeah.
with me, like right, single mom, because you had like both, right? So
Yeah.
like a single mom, right? I have sons. Like from the very beginning, since they were little, like so I go way. I don't believe in I have babies, kids. I don't believe in that. I believe in I spit out little people,
Mm.
right?
Oh, yeah.
Because they grow up to be
Survival of the fittest.
yeah, like you.
That's
So
right.
you grow up to be big people.
Right.
So like if you're a little asshole, like little person, then you're just gonna be that asshole that we see in this
Yep.
big ass world of ours. We got plenty of them. So I don't believe in like, oh, he's just a kid. My sister does. He's just a kid. Like da 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 da. I don't believe in that. No, fuck that. There's no like, no, you're a person that I am molding to be a good person. Like, so I believe in gender roles. I literally like girl, like my daughter, like this is your job. Like sons, like right, like this is your job. Like this is what you do. Like you protect, you provide, you this, you that. Like even my sons, like I don't need their rent money. Like you know what I mean. Like but like even as soon as my son turned 18, like I was like, no, you got to pay $500 rent. Like $500. And he dangled it. He brought in Jessica and he was like, what about if I got a roommate, mom? You get your 500, we pay 250, we share the room. Like, but I have to teach you how to like, so, and I stay adamant on my sons, like, because I do want strong men, like as sons, like, so everything is, no, this is your role. Like, no, you need to like, this is what you need to do. Like, don't mistake it. Like, and this is what I need to do. I know it's kind of like hard for the fact that like I am the one who runs the house or whatever, but I very much like know like this is your role and you want a wife that is like this. Like, and I'm not saying you're gonna fight like she might be a diamond in the rough with these days. These hoes are like nothing, you know, but I think like you'll find it. They're still there. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like
we talked about that yesterday.
yeah, like they're still there, like, and they need to be like, no, of course, as a team, like you guys are a team, help each other out. That's how life works, you know what I mean?
Right.
But like, no, you have a role because you are a man, because you are a provider. You will to protect. You will like learn how to do that tire.
So you hear, you hear a lot of females say, "Hey, you know what? I think it's more of this partnership. It's like just a partnership." And so, with that being said, I think we both share in the laundry. We're both sharing in the dinner. We're both sharing in the dishes, and they're going back and forth. And like I was telling Alina, okay, so if that's the case, and we're everything else is getting divided pretty evenly with all that stuff and the cleaning and the cooking and all that stuff. Like I was telling her, okay, so then does that mean that when it's raining, a crazy storm, and it's leaking, are you going to climb up on the second floor and throw a tarp up on the roof and make sure it's not leaking?
Because that's your
So are you going to also, hey, I just came home. It's my night to make the dinner. Yeah. But I got a nail on my tire. Are you going to go out there and fix my tire while I'm doing that? Right. Yeah. So now like someone's breaking in the house. They're breaking in the garage. Are you going to grab the gun and go out there and tell them, hey, man, no, so don't. So they're trying to make it like tick for tack, but it's not. So when she had said, yeah, but those roles don't happen that often, right? So they don't happen as often so that, okay, well, if that's the case, okay, let's just say that the roles, let's just say a housekeeper. So I pay a housekeeper. Now you don't got to do it. How much does that housekeeper cost to keep her?
No, because that's her job is she should pay.
Keep her 24/7. Yeah. I'm just saying, I'm going to make a point.
Gotcha. Okay.
So you got a housekeeper 24/7. She stays. Okay, but now you need to replace me. So now you need a security guard.
Yeah.
And you need a contractor. Yeah. Right? How much am I going to cost?
Yeah.
So what's the value? Where are we talking about? Even if it's only done so often the construction and so often the protecting, you still need that motherfucker there 24/7. So,
but I think the protection is 24/7 no matter what.
Yeah. Right.
Because
but what I'm
when
saying,
you're at home, you always feel safe that girl's going to go to bed at night feeling safe, knowing you're next to her, even when nothing ever happens. Right. Because she knows if something happens, like for me personally, I sleep alone, right? Mm-hmm. Well, any noise, I'm like, because it's just me most of the time, because Seth is here or there, whatever, Yeah. But when Seth is home, I do feel a little bit more secure, So that security is 24/7.
That also depends on who you're with, though. Because there's going to be a lot of guys that are at your house, and you ain't going to feel that secure. Well,
I was going to say that, because when Tom had said, like, if I got to go on the roof, well, like, if you're not doing nothing to keep that stamina going, you ain't going on the roof. You that chubby guy on the side of me. I'm about to hold the ladder.
Somebody.
Like, you know what I mean? So you got to keep that stuff as a man,
100%.
even if it's rare.
Hey, some chubby guys could get up on that roof.
I'm just
don't
saying there's a lot of
chubby guys.
There's just a lot of them cats.
They could, and there's a lot of ones that will call somebody and there's.
And I think I would appreciate it more today, even though you guys square live in this quantum world, because you saw when I had to go on my roof, I had nobody. Like me and my daughter threw the ladder up there.
You did. I mean? You just wanted to friggin' do it.
Well, who was I going to call? Where were you? Oh, I didn't. Yeah, he got mad. And you're right.
I told you. I was right down the street doing construction. I already had the ladder and shit in the car. And you were like, oh, I'm going to go do it.
Yeah, well, I don't.
Break your neck up there.
I don't like to bug people. So I think that if I got in a relationship today and somebody lives there, I would hold that ladder like, you go, babe.
Let's see, is that because you've dealt with soft men? Wait,
they just didn't take over and do it.
Yeah, like,
and tell you, Lena, sit your butt down, and I'm gonna do it.
No, like seriously, like. So hold on, world, don't get offended. Alina's soft, a lot of soft male.
No, there's the one we talked about.
There's a gang of them that are soft. Anyways, where I would see that they're soft, I don't care. Like, there's a lot of them that are soft. You know what I mean? Yeah. And the reason why I say that is because I again been fortunate all my life. I've had my homies around me. I've had like nothing but I run with men. So like, I don't need to worry about none of that. Like, and I have a dad. Like, in any person that I do get close to, that's a man. Like, he is able-bodied, capable. Like, everything about him.
You just degraded all my.
I'm just saying, like, so like, it's not like I have the homies. Like, I have all these guys that are worth nothing.
Well, I can't say that because when Loran's water heater went out last week,
I just said for the most part.
And then Eddie Spaghetti came and fixed it for me.
We're not narrowing down the nitty-gritty, but I'm just saying.
For the most part.
Yeah, for the most part.
Yeah.
Like, right? Like, because she works in the office and she deals with office people and she deals with, like, different, like, but, like, so me, like, I don't really, like, have that struggle at all. There's always a phone call away. There's always a guy that I know that, like, hey.
You're kind of surrounding yourself with only guys like that.
Yeah, I'm not.
You didn't call you a guy because I call you a lot for stuff, so you're not a guy. You soft, Tom.
I'm like, what?
No, because I called you for the water heater, right? Because I was stuck, and my daughter, poor baby, on her birthday was like all stressing, and I was like, okay, this isn't about me. This is about my daughter now, right? And they were going to charge Grandma Kay like $2,800 to take the water heater out, and I was like, no, absolutely not. Like, we know people. Like, this is
You can
dumb.
find a Mexican
Yeah.
for 200, yeah.
So I called Tom, and then Tom's like, I can, but probably not till tomorrow. So then I called Eddie, and Eddie's like, let me go look at it now. So I do have some people, I guess, but when it comes to me personally, you're probably right. I know a lot of softer guys, but I also don't like to bug people because I always feel like, and not Tom, because we've had this conversation, there's always an expectation afterwards.
I
Where,
think because you're a girl. So
Yes.
like, I don't have those problems.
yeah.
I could call up anybody. I'm gonna bug you. I don't care.
I don't care.
Like,
I'm bugging.
I don't. Like, I really don't. Like, and like whenever, and I feel like when someone does bother me, or like not, I don't feel like it's a bother. Like, then like
I think that's your
I'm-
friendship level with them, though.
Yeah, like,
fuck
you-
it. I can
yeah,
fuck
like
with you.
I got it.
Like
I
you're my
got
friend,
it.
fuck you,
Like,
get your ass over
like,
here.
But
You know?
when you came in, what did you come and fix for me?
Your electrical.
Okay,
stuff
so he
on
came
the
fix the
body,
electrical,
yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
when he was done, he was like, out, I'm gone. And I was like, oh, bye. Like, thank you. Where a lot of guys will be like, oh, so what are you doing? And I'm like,
But what
"See,
kind
this
of
is why I
guys are
don't-"
those?
Yeah, what kind of expectations are you talking about?
What kind like
exactly?
you shouldn't even be.
Guys-
Going back to expectation, like what we just talked about, we shouldn't expect.
And this hasn't happened in
anything. Fuck.
years. This hasn't happened in over 5-7 years. So I'm talking when I was way younger. But that's why I become the person I become, because I don't even want to deal with it at my age, you know? And that's the first thing I told you, right? When you yelled at me about the roof. And I said, well, I'll tell you why I didn't ask you. I don't ever want to feel like I owe you something, or I don't want to feel like there's this obligation to something. And you were like, what the fuck are you, excuse me, what the heck are you talking about? Like,
Yeah.
I'm going to come do it because I want to do it, not because I expect something in return. And
But that's just because you're not used to having friends like that. Tom's not like that.
well, I've learned. That's why now this poor guy gets called for my freaking electrical, the water heater.
Yeah, but women definitely like they have this. There's different type of women out there, and they're just I don't know. Like they like, and I get it. They're like, oh my god, I don't need him to take out the trash. I could take out my own trash.
I don't
That's
wanna
just-
Oh,
take out
speaking of
trash.
that, speaking of the
Okay.
different women, so
Oh, here we go.
yeah, so we got into the conversation. I end up showing my friend's house. He just got it remodeled. It looks great, and so then we got into I showed the remodeling in that I'd done on my house and to this girl, and she was just like, oh my god, like that's a beautiful home, like the kitchen, like, and then she went on, to say, oh, that you could cook for me, like she sees. I'm thinking like
Yep, that sets
here.
it off.
Here I made this for my woman, right, at the time, right? I built this home, made it what it is, redid the pool, stucco, everything in this place to make it look like that. And took me a lot of hours getting out there doing it, and then working a lot of overtime in order to pay for it to do it. And then at the end of the day, you want me, after I did all that, to cook for you?
Gotta put your bitch in her place.
I said, you
That
guys
word
fucking have
again.
bumped your
But I
fucking
agree
head.
with you on
But
this
you
one.
gotta put it
But I
like in
agree
her
with
place.
you on
Like
this one.
I had this conversation with my son just came home, right? Got 10 years. And I had to tell him, we got different women out here, son. And like, but how you weed out those different women is put them in their place. Set the tone very early. Like, and they'll weed out. They'll fall off like, oh my God, I'm not going to deal with that. And that's good because you're saving yourself.
I
Just
think
like,
if a man gets manipulated, if the man can get pushed around in that, right?
but don't let them.
Right, but I'm saying, so if the man can get pushed around at all, in whatever his stance is, the minute he can get manipulated and pushed around, that woman can't depend on him. He's not a solid foundation. And so she just like right away is just breaking down and like she doesn't respect him.
Yeah.
And so that guy needs to be like, no. There's certain things that maybe, we can be enlightened and maybe think, and you know what, maybe I'll change my view a little bit and tweak a little bit. But when we have our stance on a lot of shit and then we just allow, like guys, I don't do this, but allow themselves to be manipulated and kind of pushed around. And then she's just like, dude, how are you going to be the rock right
But
here? I can manipulate
there's
and
a
push
lot
you
of
around.
men that are getting manipulated. There's a lot of men that are not setting the tone.
Right.
And then these women have just like,
Bulldozer ass.
Do you
yeah.
think that a strong man, like let's say a strong man can start in a relationship and he is a strong man and he is a good man, but women can definitely change that. And some men will just like a kid later, or like, damn, I have a kid. I'm here now. Like, what am I gonna do?
Not get the
And-
fuck out because you're a man.
I think they can because they can like just say, I don't want to fight. Like, I don't want
Yeah.
to deal with it. I don't want to do
And
this. I
that's
don't
a
want to. And they
terrible
just
way to
allow
look, 'cause
themselves
it gets
to
worse.
go down that road. But then you look at like on TV, right? Then you got an Al Bundy and he's in this relationship. Like, you know, oh fuck, I got to deal with her now. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? And they're just
Peg.
miserable. No, and he's just going through the rest of his life miserable and Archie Bunker. It's all over the.
Well,
You know what I
Archie
mean? Every time
Bunker
you
was
watch
a
it.
little crazy, homeboy.
Well, he had to be, you know.
I don't know.
Solomon, I ain't hearing nothing from you.
I'm just listening.
He thinks we're all crazy, huh, Solomon?
No, I'm just wondering, are we still talking about gender roles?
Yeah, do you? I was about. Do you practice gender roles? Do you teach?
Absolutely. And
your
the funny thing
kids
is,
gender roles.
I'm the only one here currently married, so that's you know.
Okay. But just still,
But-
you could teach those are your kids. That's your offspring. Do you teach them their gender roles?
Yeah, so I have 2 girls.
Gotcha.
And so with regard to gender roles, I think what I try to do is serve as an example of what they should expect from men. And that's how I do it. Now, I believe a little bit more in equality. I'm probably not one of this super autocratic, this is how it's going to be type things.
Yeah.
The way my wife and I do things is it's more along the lines of just saying, okay, what are the chores you like to do? What are the chores I like to do? Now, keep in mind, at the end of the day, I'm still the man of the house. I'm still going to be the one going on the roof, going outside, doing all of the hard things. But in terms of the chores, she'll do the laundry. We'll split the dishes depending on who's home. I'll do a lot of the major cleaning while she does a lot of the week-to-week cleaning. So, it really depends on what you guys are comfortable with within the relationship.
Yeah.
But I don't know that I call that even really a gender role so much as it just being, this is how we sort of work together. But that's the way we do it.
But
It
you
seems
know
to
you
work.
need to be on that roof, right?
Absolutely.
But you know you got to protect, right?
Absolutely.
You
Yeah,
know, you're the
that
provider,
that goes
right?
without saying. I mean,
Do you put gas in her car?
uh,
Easy. I don't know.
it's not really like that. I mean, she sort of handles her own gas, but I mean, if it was someplace where we were going, yeah. Now, like you said, like in your case, Alina, if I knew she was always on empty and she was always late, then maybe, yeah, I would try to help her. And I do it from time to time. But to Tom's point, I don't want it to be an expectation. I want it to be something where you see it and you see a surprise and you appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't know.
You don't know about what?
I again, I'm not in a relationship. I don't live with somebody. I've truly think about it. Since
You
I've never
act like
truly
you-
lived with somebody.
No, like you.
Yeah.
Like,
So I can say again, don't all 3 of you jump on me, that if I was living with somebody, I would have their laundry done. I would have food there. The house would be clean. So little things like that.
You like those traditional roles.
I
But
do.
she's
Yeah.
nurturing. Like,
Yeah.
that's just
Yes.
in her
So I would
nature.
expect
And
my
I like
car
that too.
Yeah.
I would expect my car to always have gas in it.
Yeah.
I would expect my trash cans to go out.
Yeah.
If I came home and was like, because I have to do that all now. Like when I have it, like I had to take Seth's car because he was at a game and I took his car to get the oil changed. I did rotate his tires. Like I did all this.
Yeah. Why?
I think it's fair to say if you're doing all that other stuff and you like doing all the cooking and you're in there doing
Yeah.
that stuff, then it's fair to say that he should make sure that you're.
Well, I feel like the more
like-
you're in a relationship and the longer you start to become
Yeah.
like a team, like
Yeah,
where you're
yeah.
saying, like, but I do feel like, I don't know, Mr. Magoo, don't get crazy, but like, yeah, like, no, like, you got to step it up. Like,
well, he cooks a lot.
I'm not,
for
I'm,
us.
I'm just good, Lord. I ain't defending.
Yeah,
I'm,
you
just,
know
I'm not
my
even
baby.
trying to point him out. I'm just saying, as raising sons,
Right.
you need to like, because they are like, I see the big difference. I have a 30-year-old and I have a 21-year-old. And the way I was with that 30-year-old, I was more dominating. With the 21, I started to slack off and be like, no, you need to step up to your motherfucker. Like place, like, you know what I mean? Like, you're a man, homie.
Well,
like, you need to
now
man
that
up.
I'm not at the house, right?
Yeah.
So, but my sons are there, and because I have taught them those kind of things,
Yeah.
like the one went and put a new faucet in,
There you
know,
go.
in the
Yeah.
kitchen.
Yeah.
The other one went
Yeah.
and put a new garbage disposal
Yeah,
in,
yeah,
and
yeah.
either one of the sons, they know how to do
Yeah,
that stuff.
Take care of your
You
mom,
know,
do the
yep.
household.
They know how
That's
to
your
change the
stuff.
tire out,
Yeah.
change the toilet out. They've been able to maintain, and even the yard work, and they get out there and make sure it's all
But that's what
kept
as
up.
the older they get,
Yeah.
you have to be like, this is what you do. This is your job.
Yeah.
Feeling, and I even like the boy, like my son has a son and he's 8. And like I tell him, like, you gotta stay ready, homie. You better start learning how to fight now. Like,
Yeah.
like you need to, like, cause you got a little mom, you know what I mean? Like, and you got a sister. and like you're gonna have to like
Protect.
defend them
job.
and
Yeah.
protect them. And that's your job. Like you have jobs now.
It's cute because she has a guy that comes over in the front yard and
like-
literally trains him for like 30 minutes,
Yeah.
45
an hour,
minutes,
like, yeah.
over an hour. And he's in there because she sent me pictures and he's boxing and doing all
yeah,
that. So
like this
she's
is
already
your job. Like
My son,
Like, yeah.
So my son Joe is like all stressed out because I'm gone, and he's like, "Dad, you know, like you're gone now, and you know all this stuff's landing on me because I'm the one that like paid attention the most, and I learned, and they weren't." I said, "Well, I showed all of you whether
Where's
you were
he
paying
at in year
attention."
4?
Yeah.
He's my second oldest.
Okay.
So he's 25, and then my oldest is 26. So he's just like, I'm stressed out because now it's like I feel like I got to do it. It's like on my, and I said, son, like I'm still their dad. I'm still here to teach them now. You know, but at the same time, I do feel it's great that he feels that. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Step in wherever that,
27.
wherever it's
There you go,
needed to
son.
be, that task
Yeah.
is, that's where you move in.
Yeah.
Like wherever the void, step into the freaking
Yeah.
spot.
And
when
you're
it's-
the
when it's-
dad. So as the mom, because my sister is right. Like I will say this in Seth's thing, like with my grandma being there now, Seth does a lot of the cooking because he knows I can't. My mom does a lot of the cooking, right? But the other day I told Seth, hey, my grandma has this thing she doesn't need yet, but it helps you pull yourself up from the bed and it's
Yeah.
very heavy. I want it in the garage. I was like, hey, we need to move that to the garage. He'll do that. He didn't go on the roof because he was out playing baseball in South Dakota when it all happened. So like,
Yeah.
he will do things that I ask him to do.
Oh, I don't think he
But
won't.
I
I'm just saying
love-
you have
yeah.
to add more and more.
But the
guy-
problem
you
is,
know what I
I
mean?
love to do, like, so when Michael called and said, hey, can you do my laundry? Or can I come do my laundry?
Yeah.
He said. I said, yeah, no problem. Well, he said, Auntie, where do I put the laundry? Seth said, oh, bring it. I'll start your laundry for you.
Yeah.
And so Seth actually started his laundry
Yeah.
for him. And then I took over. Like,
See, where
'cause-
like I wouldn't do none of
yeah,
that.
Seth is more like me. Seth is
Yeah.
more of the nurturing, caring one, like I am. So he started it. I finished it. But you're right. I love to make the kids happy. I love to. So I think if I ever lived with somebody finally, I would be very submissive because you try to tell me I would never be. See the eyes.
Well,
rolling.
yeah, I think it just comes
You would
like
be
so.
submissive,
Like even like
okay.
with Michael, like the
Wow.
other day we bought groceries, right? And the last that Michael knew is that I'm the person holding 6 bags, and he's a kid holding 2 bags, and this is so like when we went like, but now he's 30. You know,
Yeah.
it's not my fault. You lost 10 years.
Yeah.
You're 30, so like we pulled up, and I got out the car and walked my ass inside, and he was like, "Hey, woman." Like, right? And I was like, and he was
Yeah.
like, and I was like, what? Like, I bought those. Like, you're the man.
There you
Yeah.
Carry
go.
them in the house.
There
You know what I
go.
mean?
Yeah.
Like,
That's good.
even like the other day, he's like, what? You guys fought for equality. Who's you guys? I wasn't there. I didn't fight for it.
I didn't bring my bra.
Yeah, like don't get me wrong. Like, I know, like my kids, they know what kind everything, especially him, like, because he's seen me run the streets. So he's like, my mom is not a fucking woman at all. Like, I don't like as a woman at all. But at the same time, like, well, I have to hold you to you being a man.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? So now I have to like, oh no. Like, trust me, there's dog stuff. There's this, there's that. Like, this is what you got. You guys both need to get a job. You know, and the only thing that I think like is good about my sons is that like I was poor. I was like, so my
Not
son.
poor, broke. There's a difference.
Fuck, I don't know.
Poor is no, because somebody taught me this because I used to say this. Poor is your mindset, meaning you're
Right.
never going to get
Oh,
out
okay,
of it.
so I was
broke just means in the
Right.
moment you don't have any money.
Oh, okay,
There you
so
go.
like
Yeah.
where my son's always like, we need to make sure mom's okay. So like my sons don't have a problem with like, yeah, we gotta pitch into the rent or we're just not gonna have somewhere to sleep at. Like, you know what I mean? Like that's in there, like
Yeah.
and good, as you
Yeah.
should, because this shouldn't be like, and I've kind of like been that like when their dad died, like my oldest, I was like, hey, you know, this is your job now. Like, your dad's gone. Like, when my son got busted, turned around and told my BJ, like, now you're the man.
Yeah.
Like, so you better figure it out. Like, so, and my boys, like, they are like they read and they're like a little bit more brighter. I have more common sense. So, like, when I get these paperwork things or whatever, I'm like, there you go, sons. Like, you know what I mean? Because we all gonna fall. It was like, you know what I mean? Like, but it makes them step more into their male role.
And for the record, you know these boys are never leaving you. I don't care. You've raised them to be so good in this.
Well, that's why I'm leaving them. That's why I'm leaving them. Like, fuck them. I'm done.
You can leave. Like
That's why
I think Seth will leave me, or I'll leave Seth before you and your boys will be like this. Like they're not going. They love.
Yeah, but I'm leaving them.
What?
I don't care. Like I already told them, look, this is your pad. You figure it out. Like, cause I'm gone. Like I'm done. I had a kid at 16, and I don't even like kids, and I'm not even nurturing. So like I did my part, and like yeah, like you guys, like even like my son was like, oh, you had 3 kids. No, motherfucker, you're two men. I got 2 men.
And one kid left.
And 1 kid left.
She's
So
12.
you know what I mean? Like me and your sister, like we could bounce, and you guys just do what like men do.
And they won't. They'll
Right.
follow her. Like I
Right,
said,
you
you
know,
go get,
I like
you
that,
go get
no.
an apartment and move in that apartment, right? They're going to be at your house every
I think
night for
they'll
dinner.
figure it out,
They'll
like-
come. Nope. They're going to be like, "What are you cooking tonight, Mom? We're going to come over." And you're
Yeah,
going to be like,
like-
"Why do you guys come over? You have that house." Oh well, we miss you.
But my middle son, he's like, well, things like, cause my son's like, oh, you've changed. I'm like, no, I haven't. I'm a lot the same. And then like I was like, you need to tell your brother, because at the end of the day, you guys fend for yourself. Like I don't do nothing extra. Like I just do.
Yeah, she's
I don't
not
do
me.
nothing extra. So like unless that boy, my son's like, I'm not cooking. Figure it out. Like
Right.
I'm not doing everything is figure it out. Like, cause
I think I should have been a little.
I
like
am-
my dad.
I
don't know
should have
about
been
you, but
more
I like
like
my
that.
I'm not hungry.
Yeah, I should have been more like that, but like on a spectrum of like hardness, she's the 10 and I'm like the -5, right? Like I should have came up a little bit, but I'm a sucker. Like especially to her kids, and like I'm just like they'll call me right now, Auntie, can I this? And I'm like, okay. Auntie, can I that? Okay. And she'll be like, well, I told him no, but you went and did it for him anyways.
Yeah,
I'll be
no,
like,
I'd
oh, I didn't know.
That's a personal problem. I'm not hungry. I already ate.
I already ate.
I got gas. I don't see why this is my problem. You know what I mean? Like, I don't got those issues. I'm okay. Are you okay? You better figure out how
If
to
you,
get.
I have a question for Tom, because we both have boy and a girl, right?
Mm.
You have all boys. So if you had a girl, would you be, because I feel like she would be a daddy's girl and spoiled, and your boys would have been like talking crap, like, oh, she gets to get away with this. How do you think you would be if you did have a girl
I probably would spoil the shit out of her. Probably.
and not be as hard on her as you are your boys, right?
Probably not.
So like if you had a granddaughter, it'd be done. Like, because I think if you had a grandson, you would still be hard on your grandson. Not as hard, but you
Yeah.
would still be like,
Yeah.
but you
Yeah.
have a girl in your life like that.
It's
you'd
a
be-
different deal with girls, like, you know. So I don't think that you're not like, you still teach them. You still teach them what, you know.
Yeah, but look at your
There's
whole,
roles
but look
out
at
of
your
them.
whole demeanor has
But
gotten
it would-
softer. Your
Yeah,
voice
I did.
got
It would
softer.
100%.
Like,
Granddaughter.
oh,
It would
girl.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Absolutely.
Well, before we were talking about that unconditional love, right?
Yeah.
And that's one that you could like, that's a girl that I
Mhm.
could give it all to and
Yeah.
be 100% good
That's-
with. That she's never going to take it back. She's
That's
never going to be like, I'm never going to leave you. You
So
know,
like if you
Look
had a daughter,
at how he feels about like, but I have a daughter, and it's like,
but it's different.
fuck
because
you.
you're-
She's my daughter.
It's like, you're a girl.
yeah, but it's a girl and a,
Yeah.
it's a girl and a.
But I'm saying,
You know,
like,
the dad, like,
you
or
with your
grandpa.
son, right? Like you with your son, like, and it's just like, and then like my daughter, like, and like, so like men and men is basically what I'm saying, right? Woman and woman,
Yep.
that's my daughter, and I'm just like, I'm completely,
my son
I'm
talks
lost with
shit.
her.
Okay, what if your
So-
daughter was 18 and she calls you and says, Dad, Joey's your 25-year-old, right?
Yep.
Dad, I have a flat tire on the middle of the street. I called Joey and he told me to figure it out. What would you do?
Well, what happened to the gender role?
Like, would you get on Joey's ass for not helping his sister? And would you run there right away because that's your daughter and now you're mad at your son too? Like, how
Not
do
even
you...
Right,
that.
it would always
What
depend
about
where,
if-
where you're at. If
let-
I'm at work, I
Let's
can't
just
get out.
say
If he
that's
was
your
at work, I
daughter
did it.
and her husband or her boyfriend.
Wasn't
like,
stepping up?
Yeah, like,
Oh, I'd be all
but
over
what
his
happened? There's no
fucking
gender
ass.
roles. We're all equal.
Yeah,
What-
fuck that. No,
what- oh,
they're
but-
not. I
that's-
don't believe
but
that.
What happened?
I don't
though?
believe it's all equal.
Would
Fuck
you,
no.
would you,
Fucking ain't no
would you
equal.
pull him aside and check him like, hey, homie, why aren't you taking care of my
Oh,
daughter?
for
Like,
sure.
would you?
That would have already checked him way before that.
Right? Because you
I
would've
already,
seen the
I already
bitch sign.
sized him up the day
Yep.
he walked in the door.
Yeah.
He was already would have been taken down the
Because
street
he's
and
supposed
took
to
him for a
have his
walk
roles.
and
She's supposed to have her
Better
roles.
And the
fucking
reason
take
I
care of her.
asked is because my daughter, even to this day, I am hard on her, like super hard on her. And I am so much softer on Seth.
Makes no sense.
because it's the
Because
it's the
he-
dynamic of
Yes.
mom and
Yes.
son and the father daughter
Yes.
dynamic. I see
And
it.
I
I don't
had-
have it. I
I
don't
had
get to
him
experience
10
it, but I
years
see
later.
my my compadre and my best friends. I see them have that, and I just like, and then I see the way oh, Dad. I'm like, oh God, yeah.
But I
I'm
also think,
tired,
I
you
figure
know?
Seth is a boy. He has a Caucasian name. He's tall. He's smart. He'll always figure it out.
Yeah.
Where my daughter, my poor little, she's only 5'2". She's a girl. She's a lesbian. The world's already against her, right? So I have to make sure, God forbid something happens to
The world is
me.
not against her.
She
Not in
will.
California, at least.
I have to make sure she's always going to be able to be prepared and take care of herself. You know, like I've already told Seth.
Well, I don't think lesbian has anything to do with it.
Well, I just
I
think,
do.
yeah,
have-
no, I don't think that has anything to do
Yeah,
with it
like,
because I
'cause-
don't feel that my younger sons are ready to deal with that and take care of themselves. And there's a certain point where my older two have made my heart's at ease with that. Like I know that their mindset is right and their mentality is right to take care of business and to do whatever is necessary to get to where they want to be. And I know they have that in them. So I don't worry about them anymore. I just like, it makes me feel like, hey man, I did my job here.
Yeah.
But like my younger two, you know, they kind of still think, you know, they expect things and they're, you know, privileged or whatever. And so they're still figuring stuff out and they're latched to mom. And then she's keeping them kind of, you know, a little bit softer and not rise up. But when I was around my older ones, like I made sure that
I
happened.
think I told you, or was it you, that I said that now at 49 and now that Seth is 23, I realized maybe I should have gotten married to a strong man, obviously, who Seth could learn all the things that I haven't taught him or wasn't able to teach him. And he could see a whole different, because I'm not you, I am me. So I'm a different person. Maybe he would have seen different things. He would be different. You know what I mean? He would be able to go fix a flat tire.
You're all right. You're all right now.
Oh, no, he's great. Like, he's totally good.
Yeah.
But I wish my son could build something.
But look at people are different now. Like, look at Chucky. Like, I got to teach her to be a strong. I'm harder on her because it's like, hey, these fools are weenies out here. Like, you got to make sure. So she's in jiu-jitsu. Like, you better get yours, girl, because, like, there's a lot of hot dogs in this world. They don't know their place. You know what I mean? Like, so you need to be ready for it all. Like, I don't want my kids slipping in.
It's crazy because these boys, they have never done a lot of things. I go, hey, I'm going out this weekend. I'm going shooting and going out off roading. And oh, really?
See, my son's
I've never done
been
that.
shooting. I would love.
Yeah, I never done. And I'm like, how old are you? Like 28. How old are you? 23. You know, 18. I'm like, wow, you never done these things. Like since my kids were little, like I'd had them at 11 years old. They were already shooting. You know. Yeah. So I would take them out to do, and that's just man shit. Like we were discussing this last trip, and I said, what man doesn't want to go and fuck with fire, fucking eat fucking burgers and carne asada?
Yeah.
And
he said carne asada.
Right? Right? And have no woman to say nothing to them. They have their own time to where they're just chilling out with their buddies. They have no honey-do list, right? Yeah. They have no phone to call them. Yeah. They can't get a DUI, so they can get as drunk as they want by the fire. Like, and shoot guns. Yeah. And off-road freaking motocross.
Yeah.
What guy ain't gonna want to go do that? So like, you know,
but a lot of boys don't have that opportunity. Like
that's crazy.
That's what
I don't see why they don't seek it, like want it. Like I fucking want to do all those things. I'm not even a guy. Like what?
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, let's do it.
You want to detach from your kids anyway. You're like, I'm out. Bye.
Some of my buddies, like the guys I do jujitsu with, one of them, he's 28. Hey, I never did that. Like, well, go, let's go, motherfucker. Like my nephews, let's go. And then. But people are flakes, man. They never show up. And like, dude, well, you had the opportunity, bro. Hey, well, when are you gonna go next? Well, I don't know about next time.
People are scared of failing. They're embarrassed. Like you're that old, and as a man, and you're gonna be like, you're like, oh my wrist, like, oh, I had a kick to it. I don't know what happened. They don't want to look stupid. And believe me.
Oh my god. Okay, so as we wind this up. At the end of the day, I believe in gender roles, and I don't mind doing my gender roles.
Yeah.
Solomon?
Well, I still think gender roles are going to be dependent upon the relationship, what you guys agree upon. At the end of the day, there are default roles that men take on because we're bigger, stronger, and we are the protectors. And there are default roles that women take on because they're the nurturers. But
ain't no man doing my laundry. That's all I know. Well, not mine.
I have no problem doing your laundry.
I'm good at laundry. Yeah. I'm not good at folding.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys so much. You guys have been gone for a while. Had a blast. Got to come back.
That's right.
Yeah.
We got some shit to discuss.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah. So once again, please don't forget to donate to the GoFundMe. I truly appreciate it. Please like, subscribe, comment on YouTube, Spotify, There's one more Apple
Apple
Podcasts.
Podcasts.
Thank you so much. Bye.